Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how can men support women going through perimenopause and menopause. Why is this important? Well, if you had a family member who had a rare disease, you would want to know as much as possible to support that person. And so this might be your partner, maybe a mother, a friend, a colleague. It's important to know because, believe it or not, 60% of divorces are initiated during perimenopause and menopause. And so this knowledge I'm giving you is key. It may save some of you guys relationships, friendships, etc. Now, some of you may be thinking, menopause, perimenopause is a woman's issue. Why can't they just snap out of it? I wish it was that simple. And sadly, a study in 2009 showed that in a journal of cancer, that marriages where the woman had a chronic disease, they were 6 more times likely to get a divorce versus if the man had a chronic disease. We're not just talking about cancer, just chronic disease in general. So what's that say? It tells me that there's a lack of understanding, perhaps compassion and empathy. And so we're gonna get right to it. Now, some of the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause are sleep issues, having mood swings, night sweats, hot flashes, feeling confusion, that brain fog, forgetfulness, okay, and the list goes on. In fact, I recently created a video of 100 symptoms, you heard right, 100 symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, which I'm going to link somewhere. And some of these symptoms are very odd and unusual, and it could be debilitating. You know, as a woman in your 40s and 50s, experiencing so many symptoms all at once, you can almost feel like a hypochondriac. What is wrong with my body? Why is my body failing me? And it can be terrifying. And so do know that that affects the mental health, right? And here comes the mood swings and the irritation and frustration. And so it's important to be patient with those in your lives that are experiencing these rapid changes. And you might be asking, why are these rapid changes occurring to such a degree? Well, it's because there is a change in hormone. Now, for those who don't know, there are estrogen receptors in our brain, in our heart, in our bones, believe it or not. This is why osteoporosis increases. This flow towards self-image does affect sex. Yes, it does, because if someone doesn't feel comfortable in their body, they don't feel attractive, guess what? You don't think that your partners also find you attractive. There might be some projection where your partner is like, yeah, I'm starting to feel like you don't really find me attractive, and you're like, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem here. Okay. In addition to that, a few perimenopause symptoms like dryness in the vagina, decrease in libido can not only take away and snuff the sex drive, but it can make sex painful. Imagine just waking up in a body that you feel like is working against you. That's like not even your body. You feel out of control. Okay, just imagine for a moment and how that would affect the way you interact not only with yourself but the world around you. In addition to that, in perimenopause and menopause, a woman's metabolism does slow down, and so there is weight gain, hair loss can occur, and so all these factors can really take a blow towards one's self-esteem. As far as building emotional intimacy with your partner or friend that's going through perimenopause and menopause, it's important to build on your friendship. Yes, especially if it's a intimate partner relationship. It's easy to focus on, well, we're not having enough sex. But try to look at it as though this person is also your friend, and ask yourself, have you guys really deposited in your friendship? Have you created new memories to build that friendship that you have with each other? Many times the answer is no. You're so busy, especially if you're in midlife with perhaps teenagers, your work, your hobbies, that you forget to continue to have fun with each other, right? And so I like to view a relationship as a bank account. Every time that you have a fun memory, you laugh with each other, you do something silly, that's a deposit in the account. But every time there is a disagreement, an argument, even constructive criticism, that is a withdrawal. And so you have to ask yourself, are we in the red? Are we just breaking even? Okay, if you're in the red and just breaking even, really try to work on making more deposits. Believe it or not, every time that you engage in constructive criticism, that one time, you have to encourage 5 times more to match that one. Yes. And that's not with intimate partners. Any relationship, whether it's your supervisor and you have a team, or you're a parent, right? If you're constantly just correcting your child, even if you're doing it in a loving way, that child will feel discouraged. Okay, there needs to be a balance, and in order to have a balance, people need more encouragement. And sometimes we can be hard on others because honestly, we're our worst critics, and so it needs to start with you. It needs to start with you. And so in order to be that emotional support for your partner, you need to be that emotional support for yourself, and be mindful of how you speak to yourself. Some of us, if someone was to speak to us the way we speak to ourselves, we'll be like, "Sac fella," ready to curse someone out. Yes, okay. I like to break out in Creole, Haitian Creole, but back to English, And so be kind to yourself so you can be kind to those around you, because if your partner or your friend says that you're a bit abrasive, I'm pretty sure that other people feel the same way, but they might not say anything because they don't want to deal with any backlash. So something to consider. Lastly, what you may see with perimenopause and menopause is an increase in irritation and impatience, which makes sense considering all those factors that I shared before. Okay, your body's working against you. You're gonna feel less happy. Okay, period. And so you might find that your partner or that individual in your life is complaining more. You might say, wow, all of a sudden all these issues are surfacing that wasn't an issue before. What's the big deal? Well, to be honest with you, I work with tons of couples and they're going through midlife changes. And what I find is that if it's your partner, for instance, perhaps there were things that, your partner was able to kind of shove under the rug, right? No big deal. I don't really like your socks in the corner. No big deal. But now, in this stage of perimenopause, where the threshold of patience is slim to none, you're going to hear it. Everything that irks them, bothers them, that before they can just choose their battles and let it go, there's hardly any threshold for patience there. So you're going to hear. So it's going to seem like, wow, there's more issues. But not necessarily. Those issues were issues before. But perhaps your partner was able to manage them or kind of brush them under the rug, where now they're not able to or not willing to. And so that can be tough. Okay, so now we got through all the symptoms. I want to give you some tools that you can take away with you. But before we do that, if you haven't already done so, kindly subscribe and like, And definitely share this video with a friend, okay? Especially if you're a guy going through midlife. I'm pretty sure you got some bros or some friends, let's be honest, that are going through the same thing. Don't keep this goodness to yourself, all right? So number one, I want you to be patient. Your partner, your friend needs conditional support at this time. So you want to choose your battles, right? You may not feel like she's choosing her battles, right? Everything is an issue, but don't be petty, okay? I'm going there for those in the back. Don't be petty. Take the high road and just say, you know what? This person is going through these changes. I'm going to choose my battles and ask, how can I support you at this time? That takes a lot of humility, right? But if you have like a older parent that's going through Alzheimer's, you don't go back and forth with them. You choose your battles, okay? Unless you want to be arguing every day. Number two, you want to engage in psychoeducation. So I'm glad you're here watching this video because that's part of it. Learning as much as possible. In the description, I will list a few books that I have read that have personally helped me to grow in this area that you can check out at your local library or on online, okay? And so try to gather up as much information as possible. Number three, it goes without saying, but for those who have a spouse that's going through perimenopause and menopause, remember your vows, okay? Remember your vows. Sometimes we say these vows not realizing, for better or worse, how worse things could get. You know, some of you guys was like, yeah, I wasn't thinking it was gonna get this bad, right? You know, for sickness and in health. I might have reversed it, but you get what I'm saying, okay? And so it's really important to remember that when you made those vows, they were not based on how your partner would react, right? It wasn't like, well, if you're nice to me, for better or worse. No. And so it's marriage is no joke, but you have made these promises. And so just go back and remember these promises. Where are we at? Number 4, I might have lost count, but check in with your feelings. And I have my little lovey here. It's my feeling wheel that I love to use not only with my spouse, but my kids. Check in with your feelings as a supporter as well, not just with your partner. Process your feelings, because how can you create space for your partner to process her feelings or your friend if you're not dealing with yours? You're just not going to have the capacity. So find a journal. You can use the old school way, a notebook, or I like to use my phone, a digital journal, and write your thoughts and feelings, and also challenge them. Challenge those thoughts and feelings. And I do have a video with some cognitive behavioral prompts that you can use if you're interested in journaling. Next tip is to join the process, meaning when your partner or friend is going to their appointments with the OBGYN to discuss their perimenopause and menopause symptoms, go ahead and schedule some time off and join them, okay? So that they don't have to feel like they're walking this road alone, you know? That way you're showing your significant other or friend that, you know, this road that you're traveling on is a road that we're traveling on together. I mean, that right there just touches my heart right there. And I know it will touch that significant other as well. And lastly, of course, as a therapist, off the back, I'm going to say get counseling, get therapy, get life coaching. It is so important. Why? Because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're not meant to live life on our own and figure it out. I mean, you can try, but why make it hard when you can have support? You know, in a multitude of counselors, there is wisdom. And so even as a counselor myself, I have my own therapist, not only therapist, I have a financial counselor, I have a menopause coach. You see what I'm saying here? I rather talk to others who walked the road before me so I can gain that wisdom and not have to make the mistakes that they made. Why stumble if I don't have to? I'm just saying, okay? And so consider coaching, counseling, maybe couples counseling once a month. You don't have to have a severe issue to do that. Some couples I work with, they do it as a maintenance plan once a month or quarterly, just to make sure that, you know, that they're showing up for each other and there's no potential red flags or yellow flags that are appearing in their relationship. And don't we do the same when we get our yearly checkup, when we get that yearly inspection on our car, or clean our teeth every 6 months? We're just checking in, making sure things are going well. So don't wait till you're in crisis mode to get help, okay? Because if you can do that, you will thrive. And I don't know about you, marriage is hard enough being with someone who's not only different from you, but who's imperfect. And once you step into marriage, guess what? Because you're imperfect, you add to that imperfection. And so it's not easy for anyone. And so don't believe the hype. Sometimes we're on social media and we see, you know, these highlights. It's easy to think like, am I the only one like struggling here? You're absolutely not the only one, okay? And so just know that this is a journey. So take things one day at a time. And so if this video was helpful for you, comment on what you're gonna take away. We are a community. You can even post any questions that you have in the comment section. And if you made it to the end, you can type in hashtag Monday menopause. That way I know you made it to the end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching and much love.